Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
It's a local party on your local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, and of course, you can see us on YouTube if you can get past all the crap. I spend about the first five minutes every time I open up YouTube saying, don't recommend, stop, not interested, don't recommend, report as spam. And I'm clicking all the buttons.
There's a bunch of that.
Until I get down to what I like.
I have my subscribing list,
yes.
The ones I subscribe to. You know, if they have a little dot, it means there's something fresh there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I will look through those. Always peek at the Zoey channel. How's it looking? Good. You know,
Sure.
we're getting likes. We're getting 1 or 2 a day. It's growing.
I tried to send you a bunch of girls in yoga pants.
Oh my gosh, with the girls in
and the stretching exercises. No. Just because I wanted them propagating on your.
I'm thankful those
YouTube
haven't arrived.
well.
I have been getting a lot of golf tips and things. I wonder why. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's the same reason you get girls in yoga pants. So
I clicked on one video on one, and now I get served up all the time. So anyway, I was interested to see how she, the spinal elongation and everything.
Yeah, just stop.
Yes,
now.
okay. It's our pleasure to bring back Bud Loura right now. He's the owner of Restaurant QB, restaurantqb.net. You can see him online there. How are you there, Bud?
Good. Thank you guys for inviting me in. This is great.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate that.
The new location's beautiful here, so that's great.
Well, thank you so much. That's all Steve's doing. He decorated. And
I have people, Tom. I have people. The studio we're in here was actually 2 offices.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about, we weren't sure where we were going to put Tom's studio, and it made the most sense to put it to take the wall out and set it up.
Can you even imagine if the wall was still here? Right. I can't even visualize it now.
Right.
But
Len Montreal and the folks that own this building.
Len's a great guy. He's an awesome guy.
And their construction crew.
Amazing, yeah.
It's amazing. They give construction crews a good name, and most of them don't deserve it. But they were great in the facility, and we've been real happy.
Sure.
The neighbors are nice, and right here across from the Gem restaurant.
Yes,
How's
can't
that?
beat that. Yeah.
So, but tell us, what you do as the Restaurant QB, how the name came about, and what your background is, all that.
So I worked. My longest story is. Worked in college. Before I went to college, my mom managed a bar in my hometown of downtown Altmar, New York.
Okay.
And she managed a couple bars then, so you bar back and you worked there and you're a kid and you got food service experience, you cooked, you attended bar, I did everything. I went to college, and when you're in
What'd
college...
you go to college for?
I did not want to work in food service. I wanted to wear a shirt and tie, so I had kind of a strange path. I went to it took me 6.5 years to get my 4-year degree. I lived with a rugby team for a while off campus. I had a hockey team.
Did you have fun?
Off campus. I had an amazing time.
What college? Where'd you go?
Take a breath. I went to SUNY Potsdam, then I went to SUNY Plattsburgh, then I went to Clinton Community College, then I went to OCC, then I went to Oswego, then I went back to Potsdam and graduated.
No kidding.
But I had a great time.
Yeah, I would imagine.
When I got done, I wanted to wear a suit and tie, and the way the story goes, I had a job interview back at the time at Key Bank, and they wanted like an assistant manager trainee job, and this is 1987.
Sure.
So I put my best tie and white shirt on and went in, and they offered me like $13,500 a year. Yeah. Meanwhile, I had food service experience, so Pizza Hut was hiring, and they paid $20,000 a year.
Wow.
So I went and worked at Pizza Hut, then I worked at Ground Round, then I worked for a convenience store chain that was back when C-Stores food service was, remember in the days when it was a microwavable burrito.
Right, yeah, that was it.
Sears Oil, Tom and Howard Sears are great people out of Rome, New York.
Yeah.
They were the first ones to kind of bring food service into where you made fresh subs, made fresh pizza. I kind of worked with that. I was an area manager for their stores training and stuff. And then my in-laws came into some money. We took some money and bought a place. Had a place in Cicero for a while, had a place in Fulton for a while. Left there, worked for a food distributor for a minute, and then saw an ad in the paper for a true startup company. And real smart guy, John Davey, NYU business grad. He was a true startup, and what his goal was to take the volume of independent restaurants in any given regional area and use it as leverage over suppliers to get a price, like a chain would get. And if you think about it, I use Fran at the Euclid. Fran's a great guy, good friend. as an example, Fran buys Pepsi, so does the Applebee's up the street.
Yep.
It's the same driver, it's the same bag, they're indistinguishable, but clearly Applebee's pays a better price because they rate Euclid Hotel's volume price based on his individual volume.
Sure, which makes sense.
Right,
Which makes sense to them, but at the same time, if you can group that together, which is what we did. So I started with them. They had maybe 60 restaurants. That's the first employee. 17 and a half years later, we had 45,000 restaurants nationally.
Wow.
I'm kind of the restaurant whisperer. I kind of know where the getcha is and how to leverage some buying power to get a good price. They got acquired. We parted ways. They gave me some money not to work anymore. And during that time, a lot of the local restaurant owners here I call personal friends. So, you know, Louis Twin Trees and Jason from Merritt Evans and Kevin from the Dark Horse and Chris from Mimi's would call me and say, hey, man, I got a problem. Can you help? And I kind of helped them. And
So
then
you're like a restaurant coach.
yes, exactly. So that's where the QB came in.
I see.
You
Yeah,
know,
your quarterback.
the quarterback kind of manages everything.
Yeah.
How much were chicken wings at the Ground Round when you worked there?
Oh my gosh,
That's what I want to know.
We used to do all-you-can-eat chicken wings
Tuesday
Yeah.
night.
on Tuesday nights
Yes,
for
I remember.
$7.99.
Yep.
We had a guy come in, and the record I think was at Ground Round. He ate like 205 wings, and all he drank was water, and he didn't even tip.
No.
So that kind of went
Crazy,
away. But
yeah,
$7.99.
It was
all you
his
can eat.
reason. Oh, okay.
I remember
He
doing
ruined
that.
it for all of us, right, Tom?
Yeah, well, that was the prime of my weightlifting days. So we used to go in for the free wings.
That was the
They
problem
were
of my
great.
wing-lifting days.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then, you know, Dan, the Tullys, Dan and Dave and John
Yeah, we-
Paul.
we know
they
those guys
took all
well.
of those. Dan's a great guy, smartest guy I know. He's way smarter than me. They came in and kind of took those units over, and they've just been super successful.
Yeah,
done a
wonderful.
great
Those
job.
are wonderful. We have Dan in quite a bit.
Yeah.
So who would ask for your services now?
So anybody that's an independently owned restaurant,
okay.
you know, Tully's is independent.
Yeah.
I don't really help Dan. Dan's more of an advisor to me, and he, you know, we bounce questions off each other. But any independent restaurant, if they're going out there, they're just getting taken advantage of in a lot of places because they're not using the leverage of the group.
Yeah.
So I work with 180 local restaurants: Onondaga, Oswego, Cortland County, Madison County.
That's kind of your service area. You
Yeah.
don't go out of state, do you?
No. And most of our, you know, so I have relationships with local suppliers. Brown Carbonic is a local craft soda supplier. You know, Boston's Best is local coffee. You know, Johnson Paper out of Auburn for local paper.
So are you a broker?
I don't know if you'd call I'm more of a consultant. Like with Johnson Paper, I have set pricing that's good for anybody that participates that's part of my group, and they attach them to RQB pricing. And there's
Okay.
an advantage to that because it's lower than typically
So
you
if
would
they get it through you, they're going to get a better deal, generally speaking.
Correct.
And maybe you said, back up, I believe you said, felt like they were taking advantage of. It's just the way business is.
Exactly.
They're not trying to like stick it to people. That's just.
It's the way it
if
is.
somebody
Yeah.
buys a quart and buys a bazillion gallons, I'm going to give the guy who buys a bazillion gallons a better deal. The quart
Exactly.
just is.
It's the way it is.
But you have
You're-
volume, leverage, and buying power.
Yeah, so we can leverage it as a group, and then we've done some great stuff during COVID. Ryan McMahon was a great support of ours. John Mannion, John Katko, and we got together and did events to try to help people get through COVID.
Right.
I was very concerned about my friends' personal health. When you see an orange zone, and then the next week you got to close, and then you can
Right.
be open until 11. Then you have to sell food.
That's crazy.
These people had it tough.
Well, tell me about this breakfast club.
Yeah, so I saw some. I'm big on Facebook because of my age. I'm not a Grammer or a Twitter or whatever, so I'm on Facebook. I saw a year ago, November, somebody did this thing, I think it was in Texas, where somebody got together with all their buddies and went and had breakfast. Everybody brought a $100 bill. They sat down, had breakfast, and they left the rest for a tip.
Oh,
And I thought, oh, cool. I'm going to be 60. I know it's hard to believe, but I got $100. You got $100. Tom, Steve, you got $100.
If I'm a server, I want to work that day.
Yeah, exactly. But you got $100, so I
Yep.
got my friends together. We picked a place. We told the owner we were coming. We usually have between 12 and 22 people. We go out, people bring $100, and some people bring 50, whatever they can afford.
Yeah.
We get done and we tip. So we've given
That's
out,
wonderful.
we've done like 13 of them. We've given out almost $30,000.
Oh, that is
Crazy
super
cool.
Bud.
Crazy
Super.
cool.
Well, that's Bud Loura right there. He is the owner of Restaurant QB, and anybody looking for that kind of consulting, please give him a call and go to his website, restaurantqb.net. It's always a pleasure to talk
Yes,
with
thanks, Tom. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. Thank you.
you. Thank you. All right, John Kupperman coming up next, owner of Smith Restaurant Supply, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.